So namaste everyone. My name is Srinivas, the career counseling specialist. Welcome you all to this new episode on career counseling interview. Today we have a special guest with us, Mrs. Chetna Saran. She is a postgraduate in engineering. She has worked for several years as an assistant professor in an engineering college. Even I have worked with her. It was really a good experience working with her. She is known for her good teaching, her training skills, and also public speaking skill. Even I'm a fan of her public speaking skill also, especially the extempore section, where whatever you give, she comes out with some positive, sentences out of it. These days, like from past 1 year, she has her own venture named Jigyasa Infonautics. I'm right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Wherein she's training students online and offline for machine learning and data science. So I would like to welcome Chetna ma'am. Namaste ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Srinivas, for having me. It's always a great pleasure to be with you because you do a lot of insightful activities very often. It's great to be a part of your activities.
Thank you ma'am. It's my privilege that I have you here, especially in Belgavi. Like you are one of the kind of entrepreneur who are a leader where many young girls are following you. Also, I could see this.
Thank you so much for your admirable words.
So let us start this interview, ma'am. What made you start this venture, that too in this field of machine learning and data science?
Yeah, I was into teaching, as you said. I was your colleague as well. For 6 years, I was working in one of the engineering colleges. But over the period, I just felt there was less about teaching and more of clerical work. Maybe the institution required all that, but somehow it did not satisfy me. I wanted to teach more, explore more, and do in my own way. So I took up this course for 8 months, going to Bangalore, and I was properly trained for it by one of the professional academies. Then I thought I should do something about it. Well, my constraint was that I had to do in Belgium whatever I did. So I happened to meet a couple of people who gave me this idea, and I just surveyed the market of Belgium. I got to know there were no specialized course in machine learning and data science. Those days, I mean, 2 years back when I came up with this plan. So I hosted it, and I was fortunate enough in the very first batch. I got a very good response from Quest Global employees. They were staff of engineering colleges and also students of engineering colleges. So it went on with a good speed from there on. So I started feeling good because both my teaching needs were met, and also something which I had newly acquired, I started using it, and it is to be the most trending technology for further years to come.
Yeah. I've recently read the new policy of education, that is National Education Policy 2020. The future is this what you're using, this machine learning and data science. I have read this several times when I was reading that 62-page, the notice which is sent by the Education Department of India. So I think you are in a right track and training the right students. Especially, I want to know this. I'm not well versed with these words especially. Machine learning and data science, are these both same, or are these different, and how different they are?
Yeah, this is a wonderful question, which I always start my session with giving a clarity on this. Artificial intelligence is a big umbrella in which a lot of things come. The basic idea of artificial intelligence is to mimic the human behavior by machines. When we say machine, it is computer basically, or when you make a product out of it like Alexa or sell it, they are also the machines. They are the product of artificial intelligence. So it's a big umbrella under which comes your machine learning and data science, all of it. So in a broad picture, they are all the same. They're no different. When you actually start doing it, go deep into it and pick out some algorithms, do it. So you may feel they're all different, and they are in a way different, but they're all overlap. They are subset of each other's, and that is it. I would like to tell how they are different. Machine learning and data science, they go hand in hand. There are two parts in the cycle of data science project. Initially, you just visualize the data. For all of it, the fuel is data. Without data, we cannot do any artificial intelligence, machine learning, or data science. Data has to be there. So a lot of new jargons are coming up saying data is the new oil, data is the new soil. It's very true. Uh, in a layman's language, let me explain how it works. In the previous days, whenever people wanted to improve their business, efficiency of business, improve their revenues, what they did was they called few people for a meeting, they asked their opinions, they gave their opinion based suggestions, and they try to implement over those suggestions, experiment on, and then check if it worked or not. This was the traditional way, which was very lossful because you're making just trial and error attempts there. But whereas when you pull out the historical data of your company and then process it, mathematics is able to give you the exact scenario, and then it will also predict. Machine learning comes when you want to predict the future. Data visualization comes when you are only presenting the existing scenario. Once you start developing, you can make changes in the data, not going to the field exactly. You can make changes in the data, predict something, and see what factor, if I change, is actually going to impact my business in a positive way. So, this is the reason every sector, be it finance, healthcare, academics, or any business, wherever there is business, there is data, and wherever there is data, there is an application of machine learning. So, business domain is the prime importance, I would like to say. So, it is machine learning is to predict the outcome of based on the historical data, and data visualization or analytics, it comes to see the present scenario with the data.
I think, and I was not knowing this, but I'm using a system for this career counseling where a student undergoes 1 hour test, which is an opinion-based test. And based on his opinion, there is a data being generated, and we suggest him a good career out of his personality. Because when we give an opinion, we understand one's personality. So I think it is based on this. Because I have not I've not made it. There are people and I am using my experience with that tool to do the career counseling. So I think it is the same thing we are using.
Yes. When I say machine learning, when it has to reach the user, it comes through a software product like your career counseling product, what you're using, or some web apps or a mobile app. It cannot, the hard code cannot just come to the people and say I'm machine learning. It comes as a feature. Like when they are giving their opinions, your model is getting trained at the back end. Your computer is getting trained, it learns. Machine learning has only 3 steps. One is to train with the data it has seen, and test it with the data it has not seen before, and then when train and test matches, you have to validate it and do it. There are only 3 steps in machine learning. Say like you said, the similar examples are Amazon's feature called people who bought this also bought this. So that is a feature of machine learning which is coming out on the user part. We can access it. At the back end, there is a machine learning, but on the front end, the user can get its outcome as a feature. So all these, your Google Maps, Uber, Ola, they auto suggest few things. All this is outcome of machine learning at the back end of the program.
I could also see when I search something on Amazon, when I come to Facebook, an Amazon person is behind me unless I buy it. I think it is using my data of search what I'm searching.
It's everything is ruled with data. You just enter a small line, there are so many things flooding up to receive that and do something about it.
Is it very complicated to learn?
No, not at all. This is my opinion. I don't know, different people have different opinion. I have been teaching people. If you will, they say you have to know computer science, you should know statistics, all of it. But my question is, if I train a person with good computer science skills and good statistics skills, and he still doesn't have common sense to take decisions, I mean, you have to first train the machine. You don't have a business domain knowledge, then there is absolutely no way that a person can do any project real time. Machine is doing what you say, but what you say you should be aware of very well. So the first thing is it's an art more than a science. You can pick up computer science, you can pick up programming in 1 or 2 months of dedication. You can just 1 more month, you can pick calculus and statistics. But if you don't have the knowledge of business domain, then everything goes to zero. That's the reason many people take the course, yet they don't find the jobs, because at job there is a business problem you have to solve. You don't know how to apply these skills on that problem.
Yeah.
So again, they are unemployable. So I strongly believe business domain and common sense is very important to learn this. Rest of the things, there are multitude of training courses that will train you up.
Yeah. Like, every profession requires certain personality, certain IQ, certain learning styles. I think, what kind of personality should learn this? There is an introvert and extrovert. No.
No. There's nothing like that. It's open for everybody. You just have to. You should not have. There are some traits which they say you should not be biased. You should always have a skeptical mind. Don't readily accept what the data is saying. Don't try to be quick enough to get happy with the results you're getting from your analysis. Always have a skeptical mind. That's the best trait of the best data scientist, I can say. Be with some doubts. Even if it is giving 95% results, check why it is happening. So even if it is giving low, check what's happening, and never give up. Keep on doing it. Try to add a lot of creativity. It's more of creativity. Introvert or extrovert, it really doesn't matter, because you're working on your own environment. Yeah, as long as you have to present something to the audience, it's open for both.
Okay. What is the basic qualification necessary to do this course?
Absolutely nothing is required. Just for the computer literacy, I think that's enough. If you know how to use computers, and you get a hold of good people who train you, and you invest a lot of your efforts, that's it. There are so many people I have trained from non-computer science or non-technical background.
Basic graduation is necessary, or even 12th pass is okay? How
it's open for everybody. Like I have recently, part of my time I invest in training students at White Hat Junior. It's a world's first AI and machine learning run by a person called Karan Bajaj. He is the CEO of it. Recently it's acquired by Byju's. They are working together now. It's a wonderful platform. They run it for 3 countries: India, USA, and Canada. And believe me, I get students from USA and Canada who are already learning AI and machine learning in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So it's very much required that India starts picking all these, and these will be the curriculum for even high school and PUC students of India.
The things are changing, but students should be ready for the change. I could see that, right?
Adaptation to the change happens very often, and it's important to do that. If you remember, in 1960s, with the advent of computers, many were not ready to do all the file management system, everything. People who didn't know to use computers had to lose their jobs because they were not ready to adapt to the computers. The same is going to happen now. We already know how to use computers. We are one layer above it. We want to automate the things which are regularly done. We want people who can automate it. We don't want people who can do those things on computers. So this trend is changing, and I'm sure everybody will adapt to it.
Yeah. So the syllabus is also going to change in a year or two now.
Yeah.
All these kind of things will be implemented there.
Yeah.
Now, ma'am, once a student gets trained, like how long is the training for this? The duration of the course?
The basic course, I train it for 1.5 months. That is 42 hours or so. It depends on what efforts the other party puts in and how much they are ready to accept. But I have designed it for 1.5 months, because beyond that, they lose their motivation. Some of them, initially, they are very much charged up. Once they start getting complex, they sideline it and start doing other things. So that's the reason I have kept it. But you can go on. It's a lifelong learning process. It never ends. It's very vast.
Yeah. So like if it is 45 days of training, like I get trained, what next? Where should I go? How will I understand?
Every possible business domain has got openings for data analyst, data scientist, machine learning engineer. There are different business analysts. There are around 50 job roles there in the market once you know to handle data. Okay, So if your programming skills are not really good, then you can always target on the data analyst or business analyst position. With minimum skills you can get through it. If you're good in business domain side, if you're strong in business domain side and a bit weak in programming side, then you can choose to be a business analyst or a data analyst.
Okay.
Well, if your mathematics skills are really good and you're interested in a lot of computer science, then you can always end up as a data engineer or a machine learning engineer. Hardcore programming and this, less of business domain.
Okay. If I'm an engineer, will it add on more than if I'm a BCom graduate, something like that?
You can choose a domain. It's nothing like that. Yeah, but while picking up the tools, the BCom graduate may have to put in a lot of efforts. But once you're done with the course, the basic course remain the same for every domain. I know how to deal with data, how I know how to derive the insights and run a machine learning model. Then on which area do I put in? So you can, if it's a HR personnel, he can automate the recruitment process by taking the HR data. If he's a banking person, he can use those skills in his banking. There is one popular example we give, whether to grant a loan or not. That is decided by machines. It's not decided by a person.
Yeah.
Like before, you feed in all the data, his credit score, his balance and everything. There is a model written. I can be that professional there. So you can choose, if you want to work for Big Bazaar, some retail chains like that, then you should know the domain of retails, and you can pick up these tools and be there. So every domain is open for the people who know how to deal with data.
Now, what if the language is changing, like whatever you're teaching, if it is changing, how one should update? Like, it is not like once I get trained and I'm living with this skill for life.
I got to know this technique from my mentor. With due respect to him, I would like to say all the programming languages are the same.
Okay.
There are some slight changes that happen, but Python definitely is going to stay for next 10 years for sure. The way the advantages that it has, once you have mastered a programming language, it doesn't really become hard to accept a new language, because it's all the same. You just have to get the grip of it. So once you learn to balance paddling on the cycle, no matter which cycle you are given, you will be able to ride it right the same way. Once you have a grip on using programming language, no matter which programming, you can just adapt to it in a week or so. But for next 10 years at least, Python is going to remain.
Now, once I learn this course and I acquire skills of this thing, how good should I have my own startup, or should I find a job only for this?
It's all up to you. How confident are you with your skills, or what amount of risk you want to take on this? If you're confident enough with your skill, then go grab some freelancing project, work for it. Or there is a site just like Facebook and Instagram. There is also a site called Kaggle, wherein all the data science enthusiasts be there. There are some competitions hosted. You can take part in that competition. If you win, or if you are somewhere, even if you take part, there are a lot of jobs that come up for you. You can also be a freelancer. What if you want to be an entrepreneur in this? Then one thing is, you can teach like me. You can train if your teaching skills are good. Otherwise, you can take up some projects from companies. A lot of companies are outsourcing the project these days, because inside the company there is depth of talent in data analytics, so they find it easy to outsource it. You can be a freelancer, take those projects and do it, or you can build your own team, get it done. And a very important thing I would like to say here is, in the pipeline of a machine learning project, there are three things. One is to deal with the database. There are different languages, querying languages like MySQL, NoSQL for databases. You have to pull the data. Then in the middle comes your machine learning, where you're giving the intelligence to the machine, training and testing all of this. After this is done, then comes the last part, that is web application, web design technologies, where all your code has to make sense on the user side. So this is a full stack machine learning engineer, they called. A person who can handle all of these three things, he is called a full stack machine learning engineer. It's very low, but in the project they split up. Software engineering is different, team is different, and machine learning team is different. They work hand in hand to get a complete project done. So they can build up a team and get the task done. Or you can, there are a lot of jobs available. You can try out a job first, see how it, what are the pros and cons of this one project without yourself getting into it directly. You can experience it through a company, come out and do it. It's all up to you.
Can we mix this training and the digital marketing training and do some business also, right?
Yeah, wherever there is data, you have scope to do this. There is always, unless there's, and also in IPL, the media and advertisement based on the TRP rates, I want to place my ad. So behind that, there is something called media analytics, wherein at the back end they're doing analytics over this.
Okay. What suggestion you would give to the youngsters, especially many students, in this COVID situation? Either they are scared and or they are neglecting things, like let us take easy one thing. Once the things are normal, we can see. What's your suggestion? Especially the whole world is learning online, but not everyone. Maybe 1 or 2% of the population of students are learning. Your suggestion?
Yeah, this COVID thing is definitely unpredictable. Everybody have their own opinions, and we could see none of the opinions are coming true. Yeah. So whatever they are thinking is okay with them. But the thing is, we cannot just sit that let this get over and I'll do something, because nobody is guaranteed as when it's going to get over. It's better we assume, we accept it, that it's going to be for longer years on a safer side, then do a regular course. Whatever we are meant to do, we have to do it sincerely, because just 1 or 2 months was okay to take a pause, but it's going to be forever, then definitely you are losing your time. So pull up your socks, do something about it, treat every day like the days before, be ambitious. There's a lot of technology. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of internet and everything has moved online. It's just on your mind to change it. Change your mindset and the word will come at your feet. Taking my example, first 2 months, I always gave physical trainings. I never liked online business because I don't have interpersonal thing. But I just made my mind, because it's taking forever. I just hosted, I now have some 4 to 5 students where I train personally 1-to-1 in the morning, and in the evening and late nights I work for White Hat Junior. Yeah. So online I'm able to see so many people, and it's really exciting me how the word I can connect to people outside. I'm not just, earlier I got the knowledge of only my place where I was. But going online, I'm feeling like the word is open to me. Yeah. So just we have to push out of our mental inhibitions. Maybe we'll discover that magic. It's out of my personal experience, because it's already a lot of time that we have been waiting for this to end and do something.
There is positive and negative of online learning, whereas it was there for offline also.
Yeah. Take anything, there is positive and negative.
Yeah.
So we have to do it anyways. When we don't have anything to do, whatever is a choice, go on picking only the positive things, leave aside the negative ones. That's how it works.
Ma'am, how are you doing your courses these days? Like people should visit your website or how?
Yeah, please visit my website, give me a call, or right now I'm training 4 people 1-to-1. I don't take too many people together and mess it up.
You are doing live classes?
Yeah, live classes. Yeah. And we also have, maybe after 2 months I'll open it up for physical classes, 1 month or so. I also take internships.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's open for it.
Okay.
They can visit on my website and call on my number to ask for more details.
Your website details will be shared with the video. I have your website.
Yeah.
I'll be sharing so students can
visit
definitely your website and contact you.
It's jigyasainfonautics.com.
Yeah. Ma'am, I think we are coming to the end of the session. Any last words for the students and the learners?
Yeah, one last thing I would like to say is don't bother about your age. So it's for everybody. Don't wait that let a curriculum come, let my boss ask me, then I learn. Please learn these skills. I don't say come to me only. Wherever it is, please learn it. And an investment in the knowledge pays the best interest, and knowledge is definitely the power. If I relate it to my own scenario. If I'd not learnt all these, I would not be seeing this day where I'm doing so much justice to my skills. So please invest in learning. It's the only one thing which is not going to leave you anytime.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. It was really pleasure speaking to you, and you have really given a lot of inputs to all the youngsters. I hope they visit your website and also contact you for learning. Yeah, thank you very
Yes.
much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for having me. It's always a pleasure, like I said, to be in your programs. And good luck to you as well for counseling so many students.
Yeah,
It's a great service to the society.
yeah. Thank you so much.